If you feel that there is a certain bit of partiality, if there is some kind of
इसकी vanity man बड़ी है मेरी.
कुछ भी अगर ये होता है तो ये बहुत natural है. It's very human for you to feel the other person is
Definitely.
It's very natural.
It happens in every industry.
किसकी vanity बड़ी थी?
बात तो मिलता है. Vanity कहाँ से? Vanity मिल रही थी. हम जहाँ shoot कर रहे थे.
That's exactly the answer. This is me, Karan Tacker.
Avinash Tiwary Bhav Dhulia.
Neeraj Pandey. Well, looking forward to your response to the show. Please let us know. And you're watching all of us on PeepingMoon.com.
Hello everyone, welcome to PeepingMoon.com. I am Rashita, Sahni, and today joining me for a power-packed conversation are Neeraj Pandey, Karan Tacker, Avinash Tiwary and Bhav Dhulia for their upcoming Netflix show, Khakee, the Bihar Chapter. Hi you guys, how have you been?
Thanks. All
Very
good.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Firstly, I have to start off by saying that the trailer looks really nice. Very rarely do you come across well-cut trailers because it's not giving away too much, but it kept me like excited throughout.
Thank you.
So starting with you, I read somewhere it was actually initially a movie which you planned with Akshay Kumar.
No.
No, that's not true.
No. It was a movie.
Okay.
But it was not planned with Akshay. It was a movie, and that was before Amit ended up writing the book.
Okay.
Okay, it's only when I read the book we figured out that this is not a short narrative.
Correct.
And it would be possible to fit in everything in 2.5 hour narrative. So that's when we started thinking about converting it into a series. Yeah.
Okay. So when you were conceptualizing it, did you have the star cast in mind?
No, not at all. That was a function of once we started breaking it down into episodes, and once we started figuring out that this needs to be a 7-episode or 8-episode and how to tell the story. And then as and when Bhav and Uma, our writer, they started jamming and writing this, that's when we started figuring out as to who it is.
Okay, got it. But Bhav, asking you, of course, we have seen the cop versus criminal dramas in the past as well. Especially in the web space, that's been explored a lot. But what do you think will, keep Khakee different from the other crime dramas or the cop versus criminal dramas we have seen before?
Amit Lodha is not a conventional cop.
Yeah.
He's an IIT graduate. He's a techie. He wasn't supposed to be a cop yet. He went and joined the IPS. He was from Rajasthan. Left everything, went to Bihar.
Yeah.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, when Bihar was going through a very chaotic period. So it was a fish out of water situation as it is. And that's what made it, and then how he transformed himself, the department, a unique character in a unique situation. That was completely fresh from Amit's point of view. Apart from that, it is not just a cop and criminal story.
Yeah.
There are various characters attached to it. There are various, within Bihar, the police bureaucracy, the criminal network in Sheikhpura, around Patna.
Yeah.
It has a lot of elements. And we also got the opportunity to have a very large, diverse ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Because of which the entire narrative had a unique touch to it.
Fantastic. Looking forward to watching it, of course. I was just talking about how stellar the cast is actually, the two of you, and there are like so many acclaimed actors in the show itself. But, talking about you, Karan, I read your quote where you talked about your transformation and you wanted to look like a dal chawal kind of guy. Of course, dropping the image that you otherwise have, the very, conventional hero or the chocolate boy image that you carry otherwise. But in the look, when I look at you, you really look your part. Like I forgot for a minute that it's you. In fact, I had to actually, to be honest, zoom into the poster and I was finding you and then I saw, oh, that's you. So I couldn't picture you in that costume. But when you, of course, wear the cop uniform, I have heard a lot of actors say that our body language or our aura, everything changes. How did you feel about it? Also getting the look right.
ये दाल चावल वाला क्या है बताना
ये एक्चुअली हाँ मतलब हाई गया ये बहुत ही आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट चला गया
भी तो दाल चावल ही खाते हैं
I mean, when you talk about the look, unfortunately gets perceived for the exterior of it, but that was never the intention. I mean, I'm generally, somebody who is a fit guy.
Yeah.
The intention of sort of putting on some a little more weight than usual was that I did not want to behave a certain way. I feel like naturally when you're working out or when you're eating a certain diet, it really dictates your body in a certain fashion. Versus when the story is also set in the early late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, that really wasn't a time of sort of doing what we do today in terms of fitness and exercise. So the idea of sort of putting on weight was not to look a certain way, it was kind of to behave a certain way. Because I feel like when you've got a slight paunch, not a paunch, I mean when you're not very fit, when you're just like fit as a regular person fit, your body behaves much differently. Your mannerisms become much different. And of course, I wanted to look a little fuller on my face also because I felt like it's really going to go with looking a little more regular than somebody who goes to, let's say, work out every single day. But yeah, thank you so much for the compliment that, it's quite interestingly overwhelming when people say that it's tough to kind of, put a finger that it's you. But it's all credits to the material. I really feel like it's a little funky to say, but जैसा आप सोचते हैं वैसी शक्ल बन जाती है, मेरा ऐसा मानना है. But material really dictates that sort of emotion to you when you read it. And thanks to Bhav and Uma Shankar, who's our writer, who put together the entire script, and of course under the guidance of Neeraj sir. I feel the material was the true Bible, and that's what pretty much gave everything to the exterior or the interior of the character.
Fantastic. And Avinash, you were honestly the surprise package. As you wrote, villain jitna damdar, kahani utni dhuadar, but that is what I actually felt when I looked at you. Again, getting the look together, I think each and every look, how much ever I have seen through the promos and teasers, I feel everyone has gotten it very correctly. Also, I personally feel once your look is there, out there, and you fit into it, half the job is done because then you look very convincing to the audiences. How did you fit into your character and get into the role?
How did I fit in? In fact, I was very curious of, now that you ask me this, why was I chosen for this? Because I really, when I first read it, I didn't feel it is for me, and then you just jump into it because you loved it and you wanted to take it on. The guy that I'm playing is a truck driver, obviously, so he's, like Karan said, he would not be working out, he would be eating stuff which would be different. I remember going to Daltonganj, and I reached there about 10 days before the shoot, and it was very hot, but I decided to tan myself because they are in the sun most of the time, so I was, remember,
sunbathing.
Yeah, sunbathing.
Hanging out with
truck drivers. I chilled a lot with truck drivers. I used to sit there in dhabas and talk to them. So, I mean, all those things kind of become the base for you to then eventually go and shoot. But I didn't necessarily think of कि look में ये होना चाहिए वैसा होना चाहिए. You just realize that there's कि वो बाल कटाता होगा तो मतलब किसी रास्ते के नाई से कटवाता होगा. So how his hair would be. खैनी खाता तो दांत खराब होंगे. These are the things that you essentially took care of. शरीर वैसे ही बन जाएगा जो वो खाता पीता होगा. So those are the major basic things. बहुत ज़्यादा उसके अंदर हमने और डिटेलिंग ऐसा तो मुझे नहीं याद है कि eventually I think it's because of the story, the milieu of the place. If you are right to that, I think then it kind of really does half the job, because everything seems to be real at least, and there is some honesty and truth to it. Rest, the director, the editor, the music director kind of amplifies whatever you have been able to create. So, I mean, yeah, if you're true to the milieu, I think we would have done half the job. If it looks like that, I'm glad. Thank you.
Fantastic. But just picking up from the line that very interesting, you said that when you were offered the role, you were like, I don't look like this person or something like that. But did you have to challenge yourself as an actor to play this role or learn, unlearn certain things?
I mean, that's part for every part that you play. That's something that happens for every part. But yes, I wasn't very sure. I was very scared.
Okay.
I was very scared of doing this. I remember having a phone call with him and I said कि ये कर लूँगा इसके बाद से तो मुझे कोई hero का part देगा ही नहीं. I literally said this to him. In fact, I share my scripts with my dad and he sometimes reads it. And also because he's from Bihar, so he read it and he's like, ये तुम कैसे करोगे, कहाँ से करोगे, तुम किसी तरीके से नहीं हो सकता. I think that kind of really did the trick for me because when he said कि कैसे होगा was
it pushed you.
I think that kind of made me feel कि अब तो करके दिखाना पड़ेगा. So I mean, I hope, Dad, if you see it, please.
Amazing. And of course, Neeraj, talking about your way of telling stories and your work that we have seen in the past, there is a credibility that's attached with your name. Now, when we hear if Neeraj Pandey is presenting something, we know that it's going to be good and it's going to be, worth watching. Does that ever put an extra added pressure on your shoulders to make something even better because the audiences are, constantly expecting something great from your end?
No, no pressure at all. I feel privileged and blessed that there is a certain anticipation that that builds up, and you find yourself a little more responsible. On the contrary, rather than pressure or getting stressed about it and all that. So we feel privileged, blessed, and would take it any day because it enables you, empowers you to build a team of people who think alike, and you're in a position to tell bigger stories, more stories, and that's what we are doing.
Amazing. But very interestingly, I want to ask the two of you. Often in Bollywood or in the film industry, it's said that male actors are not ready to do a 2-hero or 3-hero show or film. We heard that a lot in the season of Coffee with Karan as well. Actors coming up and accepting themselves that, in Bollywood it doesn't happen. In the South industry, of course, no one really cares. As two actors who are the lead faces of this very show, one is playing the, the evil gangster, one's playing the good cop. How do you two see it as sharing the screen space together?
Absolutely hate it.
I mean, quite frankly, for me, that's never been a point of sort of, choosing a script. Also, I truly believe that if the material lets you own your space, it could be a 2-lead, it could be a 3-lead, or it could be how many other people, it would be a great ensemble. Nothing can really change your space as an actor.
Yeah.
So even when we read the script, I think it's quite nicely sort of allows you to own your entire space as whatever character you're playing, and not just for the leads. I feel that's pretty much for everybody. And I know we keep mentioning Neeraj sir's name in pretty much every answer, but it's the honest truth of it. I feel like even when I was working on Special Ops with sir, the way he fleshes out every single character in an ensemble also, that really allows you as an actor to go out there and do your best, because it gives you that much more leeway to go and, like repeatedly said, own your space. So for this, so for this show as well, and I feel that's where it starts and pretty much that's where it ends. You put your faith into the hands of great makers and a great director to believe that they'll do justice to, what you've been offered.
I'm sure, agreed completely. I feel if a character is well written, it doesn't really matter. If you're not even playing the lead role, it doesn't matter. Like I have seen, yesterday I watched Uchai and I felt Neena Gupta's character was my most favorite one, despite her not being there in the entire second half of the film. So completely agreed to what you said. But Avinash, according to you, was there any hesitation at any point?
In regards to this?
Yeah, the 2-hero thing.
No, I don't think that's been a concern because you read the script, you know your part, you know what you are doing, because every film has a lot of actors, right? So it's just that you should know what the story is. The story is about a cop and a villain. Then obviously there are going to be 2 guys. It's just basic. I think what you're talking about is basic insecurities that as actors we are supposed to be insecure people because we are very vulnerable. We are the face of film shows. All the brickbats come your way. All the love comes your way. I think it's more to do with people around you, who kind of feed your ears and can say things. Arey de Karan wo kar raha hai yaar tum. And what they are necessarily doing is translating their own insecurities and worldview on you. I personally feel that thankfully both of us are very have great sense of self-worth, and which is why essentially we are
And respect for each other also. as actors,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that also really matters.
So I think once it all comes together, these thoughts don't cross your mind.
And also-
yes, it would if you feel that there is a certain bit of partiality, if there is some kind of
किसकी vanity van बड़ी है मेरी?
कुछ भी अगर ये होता है तो ये बहुत natural है. It's very human for you
Yeah.
to feel the other person is
Definitely.
It's very
It
natural. for
happens
that
in
way.
every industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
किसकी वैनिटी बड़ी थी
वहाँ तो मिलता ही
वैनिटी कहाँ से हम जहाँ शूट कर
That's what the
रहे
answer
थे
है. That's exactly the answer I was waiting.
मैंने भव के साथ सेटिंग की थी. मैं कहा नेक्स्ट 4 बजे की शिफ्ट होगी ना तो बाथरूम ब्रेक लगेगी 9 साढ़े 9 बजे तो उस टाइम पे 20 मिनट दे दियो और वैनिटी कहीं पार्क टू थी 1.5-2 किलोमीटर दूर. But you know, even to add to that, sorry, I feel, you know, COVID has also trained the audience in general to enjoy ensembles and
Yeah, we love
enjoy
it.
characters more than just a narrative of let's say, a hero or a heroine or like one single lead of either or. And also, it's very charming to kind of watch an 8-hour content where you've got more than just one person who's on the screen all the time. So I think it's a great time to kind of go out there and do, you know, work which allows you to work with great actors.
Yeah.
And, you know, really, again, own your own space. In
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
Bhav, talking about the viewership in general, you know, I have heard a lot of filmmakers say that when our project or film hits the web space, a little bit of box office pressure is off our head because then we do not have like those numbers running that it will hit the screens on Friday and we'll get the result. How do you see the web space in general now that your show is, you know, about to release in like 2 weeks?
I was saying the web tells us opportunity to tell more diverse stories. You get to tell more character-driven stories.
Correct.
There are more, when you're doing a film, I haven't done a film yet.
Yeah.
I've worked on them, but I haven't done them. I feel for films, you have more, you have to work in a formula. There's more pressures, there's a setup. Web gives you more freedom to tell the story in a more interesting fashion. That's happened here as well.
Yeah.
More character-driven stories, plot is not necessary, which जो पिक्चर में necessarily होता है ना. इधर क्या हुआ for Bihar Diaries, the book, initially it was going to be made into a film.
Correct.
Then it was decided because the narrative demanded it, we can make it as a series.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a blessing. You know, this opportunity came to us 4-5 years back.
Fantastic. Good to hear that. But on that note, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you so
today.
much.
All the very best for
Thank
Khakee,
you.
the Bihar chapter.
Thank you.
Looking
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.